Morning all. Thank you for joining me today. It is another new week and another new day. And today it's a little more sobering, but I also want it to be encouraging. But today I was going to talk about something very an important topic. And I've got Jacob here. I've got the rest of the dogs over there too. But Jake's going to be my therapy dog this morning. But during these times of stress and uncertainty, some of us have felt somewhat safe in our homes as we're having to do the stay-at-home thing, the shelter-in-place, and some have, it has been not too difficult a transition, but sadly, the shelter-in-place is not a safe situation for women and children who struggle and endure domestic violence. Thousands of children find safety every day in school, away from abusive homes and away from abusive perpetrators. And so right now they don't have that. And then the same thing, thousands of women find a respite away from the home, maybe in a job, or the perpetrator or the abuser has a job and they're able to be away. So what happens when that gets taken away from them? Now the children and the women are at home, in the home, with the abuser, with the perpetrator, under stressful events. And isolation is a dangerous and sometimes deadly thing for those who are enduring domestic violence. And I know many are aware of this, but then many aren't. And this is a topic that it's difficult to talk about because it's not happy, and it can seem very hopeless and helpless. But I want to encourage you today, if you are in an abusive situation, there are some things that you can do. This is authored by the American Counseling Association, and the first thing is to know that your feelings and your emotions and your beliefs are valid. And it's understood that you may not be in a position to do anything about your situation right now. So your feelings of hopelessness and your feelings of helplessness and your feelings maybe of shame are not weak, and they are valid. And know that there are people and services out there that will help you. There are people out there trained to listen to you. There are services out there trained to give you resources. And I will have those, I do in all of my videos, but I will have those resources in the information below the video, in the comment section, or in the information section, in the description section below. But know that there are services out there, and know that they will listen without judgment, and know that they will just listen. I know sometimes it can be fearful to call helplines or hotlines thinking that you may get the police called on you, that sort of thing, or that other things might be violated. But know that there are services and resources out there that may just listen, and that's maybe all that you need right now. Also, know that you are not alone. Know that there are people out there who understand that right now you literally might be fighting for your life, or for the life of your children. So know again that you are not weak, and that you are not alone, and that there is no shame in having to stay at home right now. Also know that the walking on eggshells feeling that you may have about your abuser, that is ever so often in your normal life, we understand that it's there all the time now, and that those feelings are heavy, and that you may be unable to escape the home, and unable to escape the feelings, and unable to escape the things that you once were able to. But there may be some other things that you can do about it too. Of course, know that the people and services are out there. Contact those people, contact those services that are out there to help you. But there also may be things that you can do to distract yourself and your children during this fearful and anxious time. And I know it may be the last thing that you feel like you want to do, but the mindfulness exercises, the breathing, and the yoga, and the psychoeducation, the things that I've offered in the videos on this channel can be helpful for you. They can be helpful even if you do 2 minutes or 5 minutes. I know that you may not even have time to get away, but if you do have a few minutes to get away, maybe being able to take a few breaths, that might bring some solace, some quietness, some help to you. Also, try to avoid conflict when you're in this mandated stay-at-home order. I know that that may be difficult, and it may take a lot out of you, but try as hard as you can to avoid the conflict. Also, if you can, maybe involve your children in many of your activities at home. Involve them as much as you can, just to keep them safe as well. And then if possible, if you have them, reach out to friends, reach out to family, reach out to relatives or a crisis hotline. Like I've said before, reach out. There are resources out there for you. And of course, this should be the number one. Call 911 if you are feeling you or your children are in danger. Because you may not know this, but even during this shelter-in-place time, law enforcement can still place a protective order and separate you from your abuser. So know that you may feel stuck and you may feel oppressed and you may feel hopeless and helpless, but also know that you can call 911 about this. Know that there are resources out there for you. And if you're not going through domestic violence or abuse right now, but if you know someone that is, I encourage you to tell them about these resources, or offer them some suggestions of showing them that there may be help out there. So I thought that this trauma handout was really good. It was from, I think it's one of the mental health websites, and I will put the link in the description down below. But I thought it was a very appropriate little handout. It's like trauma can stem, when we've talked about this over and over, trauma can stem from childhood abuse and neglect, from war and from other forms of violence, from medical interventions, from physical, emotional, or sexual abuse, from grief and loss, from accidents and natural disasters, and we are currently in a natural disaster, a biological disaster, witnessing acts of violence or cultural. And then here's some symptoms of a trauma checklist, and this can be for anyone right now, because we are all facing, like it said, we are all facing a sort of a trauma. We are all facing the effects of a biological disaster. So your symptoms may be headache, backache, stomachache, sweating and heart palpitations, changes in sleep patterns, appetite, interest in sex, constipation or diarrhea, startled by noises, so that hypervigilance or unexpected touch, more susceptible to colds and illnesses, increased use of alcohol and drugs or overeating. That's a big one that we're seeing right now, is an increase in alcohol consumption and abuse, and then increase in overeating, emotional eating. You may be feeling fear, depression, or anxiety, and you may have outbursts of anger or rage. You may have emotional swings and nightmares or flashbacks of previous trauma, or of fears that you may have about this current situation that we're in. You may find it difficult to trust others, or maybe feelings of betrayal are rising up, and you may have self-blame or survival guilt, especially if you've had a family member or a friend that has endured COVID-19 or that has sadly passed from it. that is a very normal reaction, is the survivor's guilt, is the self-blame or the shame that comes along with that, being a survivor. And then you may have diminished interest in everyday activities and things that you used to enjoy. So how do we cope with this? What are our strategies? One of the biggest things is to acknowledge that we are going through a big trauma right now. Acknowledge that we are going through a pandemic. That is the truth. And then connect with others, especially those who are sharing the same sort of trauma, which is a lot of people now. We're all in this whole situation. So connect with others. Share with others your feelings and your emotions. Exercise. Like I've been saying in here, exercise, move your body. Try walking outside if it's available to you. Try doing maybe some inside exercise if it's available to you. There are so many resources on the internet, on YouTube for exercise, for all kinds of people, for all kinds of situations, for all kinds of health issues. So I encourage you to investigate that. Relax. Use your relaxation techniques. Try some yoga. Try some stretching. Try some of the breathing. Try some meditation. And there are a lot of these on this channel. Try some muscle relaxation. And that goes along with the meditation and the yoga. Try a diversion such as get a coloring book. Even if you're an adult, get a coloring book and do some coloring. Or take up a hobby that you haven't done in a long time, or try something new. Avoid overusing stimulants like sugar and caffeine and cigarettes. Try and stay, if you were using those things, try and stay at your pre-COVID state. I know it's very tempting to want to need to fill the void. So commit to something personally meaningful every day. Like I've said before, find something that is uniquely you and do it every day. Or find something a healthy thing that you did in your pre-COVID life, and let that be your anchor, and continue to do that every day through this. And then write about your experience, or do a video about your experience and share it with others. I was telling some mentors of mine that this has been an amazing experience for me. I'm an introvert, and so this is a challenge for me. This is way out of my comfort zone to do videos or to be on the news or to do things like that. It's completely out of my comfort zone, but it has also been a way for me to process through this whole thing, because I have my trauma issues too. I have my triggers, and this has been an amazing way for me to process and for me to share with others, and then for me to also get feedback from you and to learn your stories. It's been amazing. And then of course, reach out. There are so many different hotlines, crisis hotlines, support hotlines, that if you feel like it's too big, if you feel like you can't deal with this, again, in the description down below, I've got some numbers that you can use. So I want to encourage you today that some coping strategies, a little bit of helpful tips, and then of course, if you are involved in domestic violence, you are not alone and you are not weak. Use resources. Call 911 if necessary. Let's go ahead and do some breathing this morning, some relaxation. So maybe finding a spot that is comfortable for you, and maybe rocking a little bit from side to side or front to back. And again, we do this rocking because it's very primal. It's very like in our development, it's at the beginning of our development as humans. So you see children self-soothing by rocking because it releases endorphins. It releases those feel-good chemicals into your brain. So maybe rocking a little bit from side to side or front to back. And then maybe beginning to take stock or beginning to recognize any feelings that you may have in your mind or any feelings that you may have in your body. Recognize if there's any tension anywhere, maybe tension in the shoulders, maybe tension in your back, or maybe other places. Maybe you have got some jaw tension, maybe you've got a headache. Recognizing these things. And then maybe, if it feels okay, go ahead and roll those shoulders, rolling them back, or rolling them forward. There was a little hummingbird over there. That was cute. And sitting it up tall. And then maybe shrugging the shoulders up to the ears, and then allow that to fall. And then again, let's shrug it up, and allow that to fall, and shrug it up, and allow that to fall. Good, maybe dropping one ear towards one shoulder, and drop your chin to chest, and other ear to shoulder, and chin to chest. And lift that head up center. Let's do some 4-4-4-4 breathing. So 4 inhale, 4 hold, 4 exhale, 4 hold. So you can use your arms here, or you can do this without arms, especially if you've got shoulder issues, that sort of thing, and it hurts to lift your arms. You don't have to use your arms here. Let's inhale it deeply through the nose for 4. 4, 3, 2, good. And then hold it for 4, 3, 2, and exhale for 4, 3, 2, and 1, and hold for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale it for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold it for 4, 3, 2, 1, and exhale for 4, 3, 2, and 1, and hold it for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's do that one more time. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hold for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, and 1. And hold for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Go ahead and drop your ear to shoulder once again. And as you're doing that, let's take that opposite arm and allow that to drop to your side. Good. And then maybe dropping chin to chest and allowing both of your arms to hang heavily by your side. And then other ear to shoulder, and release that arm down, opposite arm. And then bring that head back to center. Let's do a little bit of twisting if it's available to you. Let's take the opposite hand, place it on your thigh, or place it on the opposite thigh, and then kind of reach behind you if you can, and then maybe giving a twist right here. Inhaling it deeply here, and exhale, and inhale, and exhale, back to center. Good. Let's take it to the other side. Reaching that across and then reaching behind. And let's inhale deep. And exhale. And inhale. And on that exhale, bring it back to center. Good. Inhale deeply here. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And if you hear that, that's the dogs playing. And they're going to end up eventually knocking over the camera. So I want to thank you for joining me today. If you need to do more breathing, there are other breathing exercises on this channel. You can do some more breathing. Maybe do last week's meditation. I think it was Tuesday's meditation. That's a good breathing and relaxing exercise. So thank you for joining me today. And I wanted to share part of my devotional this morning. It was the prayer, little prayer part. It was, merciful God, in this place, apart from confusion and stress, grant me the stillness of heart and the quietness of thy presence. So in this place right now, in this time that you've taken for yourself, in this time of self-care, in this time of quietness, apart from confusion and stress, Lord, grant us all the stillness of heart and the quietness of your presence. Remember that you are seen, that you are heard, you are valuable, and you are important, and you are not alone. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you next time. Bye.